Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Weber, and welcome to my summit, Your Soul's Journey, Transform Your Life by Using Your Divinely Given Intuition. And I am so excited today to talk to Janet Swartz. Hi, Janet.
Hi.
Hi there. So Janet, she and I have had a wonderful conversation, and it's just really a pleasure to talk to you today. And I'm so glad you're willing to do this summit with me. And, I personally enjoyed our conversations, look forward to more and have you talk a little bit more about what you do. And you're someone who's been working with people to help them transform their negative energy for positive energy and providing healing results for 3 decades. And that's amazing. Wow.
A long time.
So, yes. So how did you get started with this process?
Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoy, obviously, talking about what I like to talk about, and meeting you is a great pleasure.
You're welcome.
So the way we often get started with something is that we have some kind of a life crisis or something that perpetuates us to move in a direction for learning, transformation, healing, whatever it is. And of course, that was my situation a long time ago. My daughter was 5. She's now 29 and very healthy. I wanted to say that ahead, because she was diagnosed with a Wilms tumor the size of a football, metastasized to her lungs. Wilms tumor is a kidney tumor. Wow. Stage 4.5 out of 5 cancer, 2 years of chemotherapy and radiation, and 3 surgeries. And I'm telling you, I needed something to
oh my gosh.
get through it, as also to be a nurturing mom for her and help her through it. So she did great. And of course, something, as it happens, came to me, a transformational healing process. And I was a very motivated learner, and I took many, many courses and learned about meridians and chakras and emotional clearings and connections for better relationships and so forth, and geometric frequencies. It was quite a great learning, and I developed a clientele, actually.
Wonderful.
Practices, yeah. And so one day, I would say 14 years later, one of my dear clients, young man, said to me, I need you to talk to me about my spiritual experiences and explain them to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm scratching my head thinking, well, I don't think I have those experiences. And he kept pushing me to do that. Uh-huh. So I decided to go for it and just spontaneously started saying things to him that made sense to him and made him feel comfortable and understood what was going on, even though I didn't have the experience. So I realized that I could connect
to do that. Yes.
With other people. And I started to ask my clients if I could work that way. And it took me a couple of years to be completely comfortable with it, because I had to give up muscle checking, and I had to give up using books and so forth. Uh-huh. But anyway, it's very good. And then I decided to work that way, and it's wonderful, and develop a course so I can teach it, actually.
I love it. So really, I mean, kind of on the fly, you had to develop your intuitive muscle. You had to develop that that intuitive strength in you, almost unwillingly. It's like, it was just like, okay, you're going to do this. And it kind of says to me that it's there for all of us to tap into.
Exactly. Yes. And that's what motivated me to go forward with my workshops. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the intuitive muscle. So you're bringing up things that I like to talk about anyway.
Wonderful. So how did your intuition develop as you were facilitating healing and transforming for others, transformation?
Well, I had to learn to listen without judgment and without an agenda.
Okay.
I realized that it wasn't me, who's in the control seat, but there was a higher power that had my client's interests in mind. So I had to learn to listen and hold that healing space.
Yes.
So important that a person feels heard and they feel acknowledged, and that they can process through what's holding them back. And so I was bent on helping them process through their issues in a systematic way. And with that intention, I developed a simple yet powerful process for transformation where people could do that and move out of their negative, disempowering energy to their positive. So their concerns just seem to disappear.
Wonderful.
in that practice, tapping into my intuition like anything else, and with the acknowledgement, confidence and accuracy grows. So
wonderful. I love it. Okay, so I mean, it is so to you in some way. There are very specific processes that are in place to allow that to occur. So,
yes, right. And
Mhm.
I feel that there are certain steps of looking inside and seeing what it is that our beliefs are holding us, what beliefs we're holding and what unmet needs we're chasing and so forth. I'll talk a little bit about it and talk about my work, but by going there and coming to seeing that trend and coming to an empowering place, you can actually integrate that empowerment in your physiology, and the transformation really happens. It's really interesting with just a little prompting,
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what could I expect from an intuitive guided consultation with you?
Well, first I have to meet you without any expectation or personal agenda.
Okay.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Have a conversation about what's on your mind.
Okay.
What you've been feeling, what you're expecting from life, what you expect from yourself, and even what you expect from me or from the session.
Okay.
And as we're speaking, I'm receiving information in the form of thoughts.
Okay.
And I speak out according to what feels right. I call them like truth thought formations.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. I love it.
It gives me a valuable opportunity to make sense out of your stories and your concerns. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What beautiful.
And begin to understand them. Okay.
Yeah.
Your situation, your past influences, they'll come up because they'll just come up for you,
Right.
And the experiences from the past, I'll put them in the context of your current life. And I have to admit that often you'll have heard the information before from somewhere, from something, from somebody else, or you might have dreamt it.
Right. Yes.
But in any case, you'll feel at home with what's being revealed, and you'll feel a resonance to it, with what's being created. And so it's like a roadmap. I'm creating a roadmap so you can jump in your car and feel safe and trust you know the way.
Yes.
We do have Siri now, which does help, and it gives a lot of confidence.
No kidding. Right. Exactly. So, what I'm hearing is that when something resonates with you, when you hear something and you're making a connection, it resonates, that sounds like guidance. It sounds like truth. Yeah. And, it sounds maybe even familiar.
Right.
To some degree. Now, would you, just out of curiosity, sometimes when I'm guiding someone, I might say something that brings up a lot of fear. Although it sounds like truth, it also can trigger.
Right. Right. We can hit buttons that way.
Right.
And those are very important buttons for us to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
Okay. And whatever way we know to address them and to transform them, then it should be, I feel, it's a great opportunity. And of course, that's what I do, that's
absolutely
what I'm doing, but I'm not saying that the empowerment process is the only way to do it. It's just it's a way that I find very, very wonderful. And
it works.
The other thing, which I wasn't necessarily going to bring up, but I think I would like to do it. Sure. And that is that once we have an issue or a problem or a fear or something that does transform, I have this belief system that anybody across the board who's open to that kind of transformation gets some benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and there's a willingness to, kind of really go there and delve in and see what is inside, really, because you're pulling out what is inside, what's there already. And
That's
you're just,
right.
Right. You're bringing it out so that it can be fully acknowledged and so it can live in reality as opposed to in the recesses of our minds, Right.
And once it surfaces, then you can do something about it.
Absolutely.
And just to give an example, if you have a heart full of self-love, okay,
yes.
and there's no room for anything other than love.
That's true. Right.
So go in that direction,
that's true.
Really filling up what it is that we need to fill up and allow the things that are in there that we don't need to go away,
Right. Absolutely.
What life dishes out for us is tailor-made for us alone,
right.
It makes
Absolutely.
life interesting, you know.
I really like that you said that. If you are filled with self-love, then you don't have any room for anything other than love.
Right,
I
right.
like I
And
like that.
distance doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah. I
Other
like that.
side doesn't matter. You know, these
Yeah.
are all these things that, you know, people have real concerns about and real feelings about. And they're real, and I don't mean to make light of them at all.
Sure, sure. But you're okay. So that sounds like someone who's really healed a lot.
Right.
So okay, so on to our other question here, because I want to make sure we cover a lot of what you do. How would you say people in general are able to receive their intuition?
I can screen share because I wrote something out to do that, or I can just talk.
Yeah, and then also if you could also cover, so what are the signals that people can alert to in order to receive their
Yeah.
messages? So it's really, yeah, how are they going to get these
So,
intuition guidance?
so this is really good. I think I'll just talk it through because I think it'll be fine. And then,
Sure, sure.
just in case the technology doesn't work too well.
Yeah, however you feel comfortable, sure.
But
Absolutely.
intuition, you know, may appear as a thought or persistent thought. So if something keeps nagging you, then you know that's
Right.
something to put your attention on. And maybe you don't call it intuition, but it certainly keeps coming up. So that intuitive vision is there. And sometimes we do have visual images of things that we need to address, and vivid dreams. Many people really give a lot of credence to their dreams and find that they're learning for them. I don't particularly myself, but I know many people that do. The big one that I'm sure that everybody talks about are gut feelings or felt emotions or a hunch.
Yes.
You get a physical sensation in the pit of your stomach or in your throat or your head.
Yes.
You know, there are lots of ways. The stomach is the one that comes up the most, which is
Yes.
right.
That's a big one for me.
We call them gut feelings, right?
Yeah.
And then the question is, do we follow it or not?
Right.
And that's a whole nother discussion. I really enjoy spending an hour on that. I'll bring it up a little bit. I'll bring it up a little bit in the discussion if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Yeah, I mean, because that's something that is, I mean, it seems to be kind of elusive to people. What are we talking about here? I mean, and if I get a gut feeling, is it just me, or is this really being am I getting guidance, or how do I know the difference? You know.
That's right. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later.
Okay. Good.
One of the things is verbal cues. I want to say something about physical sensations, just to put it on a really simple way that's not a gut feeling necessarily.
Sure. Okay.
I'm driving to the airport and it's 2 hours away, and all of a sudden I get this like twinge in my leg, and so I kind of just don't mind it, and then it happens again, and so I take my foot off the pedal a little bit and rub my leg, and just as I'm doing that, a police car drives by, and I went from 85 miles an hour to 60.
No way!
I didn't even pick it up.
Wow! I love
thank
it.
you.
Well, thank you.
Give me that twinge.
Yeah. Wow.
Just to kind of to put it, in a kind of a simple way.
Yeah.
We were paying attention to stuff, to pay attention. Well, pay attention to a police car behind you, but in the meantime, if you don't,
I love that.
Verbal cues in words or metaphors. We get messages from songs. We turn on the radio and there's a song that has a message for us, or something that we remember that was an important time that we've been thinking about. We read something from a book, or some words are said. I imagine that it's really fun for you doing these interviews, because you'll be hearing a lot of things that really do resonate with you, and maybe it'll make a difference in your life in the next 2 hours. I don't know.
Honestly, I just can't believe the miracles that have come about through just the interviews that I've done so far. So
that's what I'm imagining, and that's what we're doing. You're putting your attention on it. You're putting your attention on it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to segue out just a little bit.
Sure.
I wrote this little book. Okay, it's on Amazon. It's called The Empowering Process: Discover a Powerful Way to Heal, Transform and Heal. It feels a little old because I really want to put the process out there, which at the end of our interview, I'm going to be allowing people to access.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Some of that information.
Awesome.
and to see a session, you know.
Wonderful.
But anyway, so we'll come back to how people receive their intuition. So
Okay.
another one is olfactory, smelling. And there,
Okay. Okay.
yes, there are some nurses, okay, that can go into a patient's room and know what's wrong based on what they're smelling.
Really?
Yes. And
That I've never heard that. That is amazing. I love it. I love it.
and what a gift for somebody in that profession.
Yeah, no
I mean,
kidding.
it's probably great for all of us, but and you know yourself, you know, the power that smells have if
Absolutely.
it reminds you of something that I mean, my grandmothers are not on the planet, my parents aren't on the planet, but you know, certain things remind me.
Remind you, yeah, that take you back.
But it's a part of intuition, and I would say that some unseen but direct inner guidance, it seems to come from somewhere, we're not really sure where, but we're just motivated to go in a certain direction, and we do it.
Right.
We do it. So we're in an airport, and it looks like we've missed our flight, and we go to the, you know, something says just run to your, run and to where you're supposed to board, and they're boarding, you know. So
Right.
it's just that input, whatever that is, that inner guidance is. And sometimes we miss the boat.
Yeah.
You could say.
Yeah.
There must be a reason for missing that boat.
Absolutely.
You might not know what that is. Okay.
Yeah.
You might not know what that is, but sometimes we're very surprised, and it's very awesome, and it was very important that happened.
Right.
So for me to give up some work that was working for me and develop something brand new and kind of wonder, you know, it's a leap of faith. You know, it takes some courage to do that. And for people to change jobs, I hate my job, they say, you know. I said, well, leave it. But I don't do that all the time, because what I do is I want to check in with their resonance with what's best for them. And sometimes you have to stick it out for a particular reason.
Or for a period, right.
Or because they're going to meet somebody new, or something like that. But I've had people actually go into that void, and then 2 days later, something perfect comes up.
That's amazing.
So it just kind of depends, well, what's the timing? And that's important. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, there is our time, and then there's divine time. And sometimes our time is, I want it now. I want this now. I want to change now. You know, I want to get out of this now. And oftentimes divine will say, I hear you.
Yeah, right.
I hear you. Yeah, but no, not right now. Yeah, not right now is not the time. But I hear you, and I will shift, and I will set you up more for success, as opposed to a new train wreck, you know? So divine time is,
flow, you know, you're sort of in that flow, and that's really nice.
That's right.
And, the last thing I wanted to say is that sometimes if there's a fear or apprehension or doubt or hesitation that gets your attention, it means there's something's going on. It could be something amiss. It could be something here or there. And I think I'm going to share something that I just learned yesterday from a client. And she grew up in a cult. I won't say what it is, just to make that private. But she grew up in a cult, and she was she knew something was amiss as a little girl, but it took her quite a lot of courage to leave that. And then there was the excommunication and the family, you know, like pushing her away. And it's like, what a lot of courage that took. And she's an amazing individual.
Wow. It took a lot of courage for her to leave.
I mean, just in terms of what she does in her life, she's a PhD, and she really has an amazing job of drawing people together and getting really rid of the fears and the prejudices and so forth, to have people interact that are of different, backgrounds. It's pretty interesting.
Amazing.
So, her background gave her this opportunity to be who she is, but, you don't kind of wish that on it. But you figure, they signed a contract. We all have our contracts.
Yeah. And so bringing that up a bit about background, and sometimes, the pain actually of where we've been and what we've gone through, more often than not, I think it's our painful experiences that really deepen our understanding of spirituality and our connection, and deepen our abilities to connect, because it leaves you in a surrendered state to some degree.
Right. You become more vulnerable.
Right.
But I do want to say this to you.
Yes.
From my experience, that you don't have to be in a big compromise situation or to be in a lot of pain to actually transform. And that's a little different than intuition, but I just wanted to throw it out.
Yes, and thank you for that, because that's true as well. You actually can be in a really good state and a healthy state, and sometimes, for the transformation, now the intuitive gifts and what comes in and the insight that can often occur through maybe some difficulty and whatnot, may not, seems to be that is a common thread there. But yes, absolutely, you're right. For transformation, oftentimes when you're healthy and you're ready and you're springing forward from a healthy platform, now you're ready for the big stuff,
Yeah, kind of, because that's where energy is most powerful.
Absolutely.
Really, basically what you're saying.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because you moved through some of the tough stuff already, kind of already dealt with that on your plate. Because, who hasn't had tough stuff to deal with, right?
That's right. That's right.
So let's see. So how to receive intuitive messages. I'd love for you to talk, and you did touch on that a bit with the songs,
I'll talk a little bit more about it. I think it's worth it, especially
great.
the topic of your, of your summit.
Yes.
So the messages, first of all, where they actually come from is from the outside, which we're being bombarded all the time, and they come from inside our bodies, from all the memories and all the thoughts that we have now and in the past, in this lifetime, and maybe many lifetimes. Who knows where they come from?
Right.
We just don't. We can't know. And they come from a higher place, from a higher self that we connect to, where we can get some knowledge and inspiration. And so if we can keep our antenna up and listen and pay attention, then we'll be more likely to receive and also be divinely guided as well.
Right.
So, the advice for receiving intuitive messages, you could say, is just to be alert.
Okay, and be willing to listen, right?
Yes, and listen.
That might take us being quiet in a moment, and separating ourselves from maybe some of the tasks and doing and whatnot, and just be quiet for a few minutes and ask to receive.
Right, exactly.
It would be a moment for us to get something.
So this, with listening with a silent background is what I called it, of attention, because we might get distracted or we might have other thoughts and so forth. But if we put the attention on that silence, then, then we get used to doing that.
I agree.
Meditation is a great way to do that. But, if we can do it in activity, that's awesome.
Absolutely. I tell people, that I work with too, it was such a great idea to, when you start going into this state where you're believing that you're going to receive and you're receiving messages, and you're starting to kind of build that intuitive muscle, bring a notepad and paper, or paper and pencil, pen, and have it around you, in the car. Okay, don't write when you're driving, but a stoplight, grab it, write down. I don't encourage that, but and so stuff comes in, and sometimes we get distracted and we thought, oh, what was that? I remember.
That's right. I'm going to give a little thing on developing intuitive muscle. I think you'll have fun with it, actually.
Awesome.
Now I'm going to try to screen share.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that.
Fun.
Okay. Yeah, let's see that. Let's see how it comes up here.
So, so we have that silence, and then we have a neutral attitude to whatever it is that comes up. Because without prejudging it or forming opinions, because we might not like it.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's okay. We just know that it's there. And we want to know that if we're going to really receive intuitive guidance, that we don't want to honor an emotional carryover from the past, because it'll filter what it is, how we respond. Okay.
Okay.
Can get the truth, or that kind of information that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Respond with acknowledgement that we're receiving it, which is kind of what you talked about, thoughts or feelings, with an open heart, and trust it. Trust is a big
key. Yes.
Yes, and it develops. Trust develops as you recognize that you are receiving the right thing, and you test it out. And also, if you test something out and it's not the right thing, and you feel like it's not the right thing, that's also an intuitive message.
So true. That's true. You brought that up, and what occurred to me was, maybe if you're kind of a newbie in this, trust environment and getting the messages, and do I do it or not do it. Try it with little things, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, little things that, you know, aren't going to be too scary. And you got an intuition to turn this way. Well, okay, you know, you drive the car, you got intuition to turn that way and go that way. Something's kind of prompting you, go there. Maybe it's just something pretty to see, you know, that's happened to me. And, you know, so if I can share a quick story, it was an intuition. I was going, this is how silly it can be sometimes, seemingly silly. I was driving one direction, I was thinking about driving one direction. There were two locations where I can get a shampooer for my house. I had pets. Okay, so I can go that store or go that store, and they're about just equidistant apart. So I decided, you know what, I feel like going north. So I'm going to go the north route. So I went north, and the clouds came in and whatever. All of a sudden, this crazy, beautiful double rainbow went over the freeway, and it was you could see the sun setting on the left-hand side, and it was glowing fire red over here, and it was lighting the whole freeway was orange. And I looked to the right a little bit, and then you could see the rainbow going over across freeway and over to the right, this beautiful area. Everybody was slowing down. People were pulling off the freeway, and I got off the freeway and I was taking pictures. Had I gone the other direction, I wouldn't even seen it.
You wouldn't have had that great experience.
I wouldn't have even seen it. Yeah. So
pot of gold. You became the pot of gold. Pretty cool.
Something simple like that, you know.
It's true. And I could try this, sharing the screen. And how do I know I've received inner guidance? Because basically, that's how you knew, because you had that experience. And I have a kind of a list, so I'm going to try it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Okay, so let's see. Do you see that? No.
I don't see it.
Okay, so that didn't work. So I'm going to try it again. Oh, okay, here we go. And then see if that works.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Beautiful.
Okay, cool.
Looks great.
Yay. All right. So,
awesome.
So it's just a little list to look at. And the one that you talked about was really kind of cool. It was sort of number 2, the second square, where you got information or you received some intuitive guidance and perfect timing, you know, where you take that the correct way to go.
Right.
So, but I'll start with experience the synchronicity of events. That's a real common one. And I'm just driving in town, and there's this big tree that had been sawed down. I guess it was dead, and there's this big trunk. And I have a friend who does who's an artist, and you know, works with wood a lot. And so I called him, and there's no answer. So I called his wife, and I mentioned that maybe he'd like this big trunk to do a structure. What do you call it?
The sculpture.
Yeah. So
I'm actually I'm lost in the visualization of it.
She says to me, she says, oh, I drove by a half an hour ago and I already told him, you know. And so, but there's this sort of feeling, and that's a real simple example, but when there's a synchronicity of things going on, and you feel that kind of support, oh, it worked, you know. Yes. That's
beautiful. I love that. Yeah, no kidding. I'm sure they were grateful.
Well, it wasn't me. She already knew. So it was just that we were in sync, you know.
You were in sync, right.
When you're with, you know, your family members, your kids or whatever. So I'm looking to the left to read this, so I hope it's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So, get information or specific knowledge. You read or hear it in perfect timing. What is needed from the outside? This is from the outside now, okay? The other was from the inside. So it's similar. It's a little different than what you described, actually. But my husband and I are driving in Auckland. We just got off the plane and jet lag and overnight. This is in New Zealand. And we got directions to our friend's house, and we're stopped at a stoplight about 8 cars back. And we're supposed to go right in our instructions, but it said that we couldn't go right, no right turn. We had to take a left. So we were confused. I'm pulling out a map, which I'm not the best reader of a map. And this guy in the car next to me, stopped next to me, rolls down his window, and he says, I think you need help. He knows exactly what to do in a light.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you know.
That's amazing.
So Yeah, so those kinds of things. And you could, whether you call them intuitive events or not, I don't know. But when they happen
Absolutely.
a lot, and you get supported in that way, it's quite something.
It is. It's miraculous.
And then receive insight after a request. And I did explain it a little bit in terms of how the empowerment process actually got developed, is that somebody would ask me something, or this is a really big example, but a cousin of mine, before we had our kids, she I don't know, there's this Tay-Sachs test for Eastern Jewish people, and if they're testing positive, then their kids could come out, with a problem. And so she and her husband were both positive. And I just looked at her and I said, "You'll never have a problem." And I have no idea how come that came out or whatever like that, but I felt really comfortable with it. She never had difficulty and had her 2 kids right away, But just stuff like that, it's kind of interesting. But I think one of the most important things is that we'll experience strengthening thoughts if we've made the right decision, or we've said the right thing or done the right thing.
Yes.
You'll feel a little funny inside if that's not true.
Right. That's true. Absolutely. Yeah, there will be a peace to your, it's like to your body and your soul. You feel at peace.
Right. And it segues into experiencing joy and appreciation for what's happening, which, like when you explain the rainbow, it was very appreciative, and you're really happy that you had that experience.
Absolutely.
You knew that, your intuitive guidance had kicked in for you.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we don't know the timing, so that the underlying, whoops, I forgot to do that. The underlying, sorry. that the underlying feeling, isn't clear. So basically you want to be able to trust yourself, and you want to trust the universe that it supports you and it keeps you empowered, rather than giving other people the authority to make decisions for you, because that's a big one.
Right. That's a big one. Absolutely.
And how do you do that? Well, you have to drop stories that blame or give outside excuses for any situation, and just take responsibility for ourselves.
That's right.
And accept and forgive ourselves and other people.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And so become more of just a very open, receptive, receiver, really, of that beautiful gift that is our intuition.
So I have one more screen share. Do we have time?
We do. We can go through that one. We may have to do that one a little quickly, so we can.
Okay, that's fine. And it's
have time to share that one.
Well, it's about developing intuitive muscle. I don't have to screen share it. It's fun.
You want to talk about that one? I'd love for you to. Yeah, let's cover that, because that's really important.
Okay, so I'm going to open my. Hope I have it here, because then I don't forget anything. But one thing is you go to the grocery store and you do what I call intuitive shopping, or shopping that that nutrifies you. That's good for you. And whoops, that's not what I wanted to share. I was going to try it, but I'm not having success. Stop share. Okay.
Okay, that's okay.
So all right. So let me try it. I just do want to try it here.
Sure.
So here's this. You don't see that though, do you?
No, not popping up yet.
Okay, so share screen and 3. There it is. You're not getting it still.
I don't see it.
Yeah, okay, so one more time I'm going to try.
Okay.
There, now you do.
Got it. Perfect.
Oh yeah, this is one I really love. When I wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning before I get up, I guess what time it is.
No, I like that.
It's very easy to do, and I have a habit of doing it now, and I'm really close, and I'm always usually right on the minute.
Wow.
Which is kind of interesting. It's just something that I've done a long time. And also you can try to remember the dreams that you have when you wake up, but it's better not to open your eyes yet if you want to recall them.
Oh, okay.
Get distracted on the outside, but it's really fun. And if you live with people that like to share dreams, it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
The third one is to say mentally what you want to hear from someone else, and you call in what you need. So if you're making a tricky phone call, or there's some information that you need and you know exactly what it is that you'd like to hear, if you have a mental image of what that is, then, or a feeling of what it is that you want to feel afterwards, then you can call that in. And when you have the discussion, it's like it brings it into the present. It's a very interesting experience. to do that, and it works
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Okay.
The other one is that you can talk to someone or something that you need some result. And I've gotten rid of ants off my counter that way. But the real big one is that I had a blind and deaf cat that was 23 years old. This is 21 at the time, but he lived to be 23. And he would howl in the morning, you know, for me to hear him and to come and feed him and so forth. And I would say mentally to him, if I was like in the shower or whatever, I'll be down in a half an hour or whatever, and he'd stop.
Oh my goodness, that's cute. I like that.
It is. And so I don't know what that means about the receptivity of the other side, but, you know, ants, I don't really have that much of a relationship with. So
yeah, no kidding, right? Wow. I like that. I have to experiment with that.
Listen to what your body wants. We talked about it in the grocery store to see what's nutrifying. And also, you know, stop eating when you're satisfied. A lot of times people are, you know, wondering how they control themselves that way. And sometimes people don't even eat enough. So there's open up a parking place when you need one with focused intention, or have something result. That way I have a great joke, but I don't have time to tell it. And so it's your inner guidance as to when something has to happen. Is it now, or do we wait? What's the timing?
That's beautiful.
And that's a whole thing in itself.
Right.
Probably in one of my newsletters, I'll address that.
Yes, that's great.
I talked about getting to the airline gate, and this is a visit a friend who's dying to make closure, even if it's been a long time. And if somehow you miss it, there's some reason for that. And the closure can still be made, just so you know. And then finally send love to yourself and those who love, even those that you don't love. It's the most healing thing really that you can do.
Yeah. That's key, I think, allowing yourself to let go of some of the pain of a relationship that may not have gone so well. Sending love, that's a beautiful way to release a lot of the negative charge there.
And people can go to my website, okay, www.empowermentprocess.com, and sign up. And I think the best thing for people to have an idea of what I do in terms of transformation and intuitive guidance is that they have an experience. And so I have a free online 1 hour, I believe, where I take people through the 10 steps on November 1st, and I'm scheduled Zoom from 8 to 9 p.m. Okay.
Oh, how wonderful.
And at the same time, people will automatically get signed up to my newsletter, which is monthly, and they can opt out if they don't want to continue to get it. And they'll get the free ebook of the 10 steps of the
I love it.
So they can try it for themselves, because the first course is called Become Your Own Healer with the Empowerment Process, and it's really about self-sessions. The difference between just getting the ebook and spending the weekend is that you have, it's more like an initiation, you know, where you have a lot of experiences with transformation, and you're with a group, and the group energy is powerful. And so you really get a good, and you have a workbook and so forth. But the ebook will give somebody an opportunity to try it.
I love it. Well, that's a beautiful gift. Thank you so much. And that gift alone can change lives.
Yeah,
right there. Absolutely.
So thank you for putting up with all this.
Oh, you are so thorough and amazing and powerful. And I love that for me, it's been so intellectualized and a feeling-based process for me. But everything that you're talking about truly resonates. And I love that you have these real, very well thought out processes in your method. And I love that you really, so now you know how to get people to there. You know, you have a point A, and you have them take them A through Z to really empower themselves. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Really nice. It's a teacher in me, I suppose.
Definitely.
Did I stop screen share? Was I okay?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So to wrap it up, I just really want to thank you so much for sharing that wealth of information that you have, and wealth of knowledge and experience, and the stories. I think that just really adds such a nice layer to everything, and it gives us an experiential feeling of what you do and other people's experience of their own intuition and yours. And so thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome. And, I look forward to seeing other people that you interviewed in the summit, and your progress and knowing of your progress in your life too, which will be really fun. I
Thank
feel
you
like I
so
made a
much.
friend, and
I do too, as well. Thank you so much. There's just so much beautiful connected energy here, and with you and with my other speakers, and it's just such a nice thing to have
it's
this
a nice
connection.
adventure. You're
These
nice.
beautiful souls, yeah. I mean, they're making a difference, really, and helping people find their real selves, their authentic selves.
Very nice.
It's
Well,
beautiful.
anyway, thanks again, and have a good rest of the day too.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye.